Yeah, I'll have a large extra butter popcorn, and she'll have snow caps. Really? Snow caps? They taste like cardboard. Okay.
Come along, it's time for you to listen to this review from DC to MCU. It's time for Rundown Reviews. Rundown Reviews. Rundown Reviews.
Back towards the opposite side from where the bar's at.
Yeah, at JK, yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we decided we were going to sit, was at the edge of the bar, right, or at the edge of the
Alley.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
And when I was walking to and from to get my drinks, she kept like just dead ass like right in the eyes. So I'd stopped and I'd said hi to her and stuff. And then a drink later, she was when you stand and you put your heels together and you point your toes out like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was doing that, and she was trying to get somebody else to do it with her, and I was like, fuck, I can do that. So I walked over there, and I was like, oh, and then she's like, yes, finally, blah, blah, blah. And then she tried to get me to dance with her to one of the songs they were playing during the intermission, and I'm just like, I don't know. She seemed like she might have been a little too young for me, though. So.
Okay. Too young for you? Come on, buddy.
Yeah, listen,
I've not 21.
Nope.
Like older than 21.
25 is my lower tier now.
It's half your age plus 7.
Yes.
Okay, that's your cutoff.
That is
well, in that case, I'm 2 years younger than what I'm supposed to be going, but you know what?
I mean, mine's same age as me, so.
At 25, your brain is fully developed, so that's where I like make my cutoff. I don't want anybody's brain's not fully developed.
45, still going after a 25.
Okay, that's fair, but I'm not
my older brother.
Ew. Yeah, no, I'm not that far along yet, man. I'm not even 40 yet, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I always feel like the half your age plus 7 rule is very situational. Because like when I was in my late 20s, half my age plus 7, like that was okay. Like that was still kind of all right because I wasn't I hadn't actually evolved out of that yet. Of like my life.
Chuck, no, Chuck. In your 20s, half your age plus 7 could have been 17, and that's bad.
No,
Chuck.
my late 20s. Not my late 20s. If I was like 20, okay, right before, okay, arguably, before I had to like actually figure my shit out, like 28. So
yeah, 21 should be your cutoff.
7. Wait, so does that mean if I'm 10, half my age plus 7 is a 12-year-old?
Yeah.
All right. I'm not 10 though, so, huh? Okay.
All right,
I was doing that math in my head.
You hurt Chuck's brain; he can't function now.
Yeah. I guess hypothetically, you could have been a middle schooler dating like a sophomore.
Sophomores are 12 years old. Like,
no, I was just equating the math. Like I was upping the math.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I was sliding scaling that.
Anyway,
but I still don't think that works though, because if you were in middle school, you'd be like, let's say you're 12, right? So half your age plus 7 would be 13.
So you'd still be middle school.
Oh, it's still middle school.
Maybe.
Yeah, good point. This is a dumb rule. Anyway, yeah, my cutoff is nowadays is like maybe 3 years younger than me, and I will go maybe 6 years older than me. I'm willing to dip into the 40s, the mid to early 40s, but after that, it's just like, what's wrong with you? You know?
I've gone past 50 once.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, well, like a hot 50, like really like takes care of herself and just.
When I was 30, I was
right.
I messed around with a 40-year-old, so like it was fun.
Yeah, like 40 is kind of the new 30. As someone who's 36, I feel like 40 is the new 30, and 30 is the new 20, and you don't know actually anything except for your shit's starting to fall.
No,
apart.
What was I?
I saw this picture.
Wait, Joey,
online.
don't do that math. Don't do that math.
She was 10 years older than me, so I think I was like 25. She was 35. That's what it was. She was 10 years older than me.
All right,
but I can't remember exact age. I don't think I was 30 because it was Amy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I remember that. You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Anyway,
Oh,
All
were
right.
you there shaking the bed while they were soaking?
Well, absolutely not. Look, I I was the one that was like,
Anyway,
Joey, you should come over and hang
We
out.
watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze. Welcome, everyone.
you know, I might cut some of that out.
No, leave it all.
Oh,
leave
come
it
on.
all. Leave it all.
Okay.
Listen, we're all embarrassed of it.
It was less than 5 minutes. It's fine.
It's fine.
It
Everything's
was
fine.
right at that
Everything's
5-minute mark. Anyway,
Welcome, brothers, sisters, gender resistors, to the Comic Book Rundown presents Rundown Reviews based off some stupid list that Joey made that he got off the internet. We watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze.
yes,
Also
we
known
did.
as I thought I knew this movie, and now I'm starting to think half the scenes I remember were actually from part 3.
Which is interesting because part 3 they go
Part
back in
3 is
time.
terrible.
I know,
I
that's
bet-
why
I-
I'm very confused.
I've still never seen part 3. We'll watch it for this, obviously, but I've never.
Yeah.
I know you had. I think I've walked in and seen like parts of it at one point in time when you were watching it. I've listened to a couple podcasts who have talked about 3, but I've never actually seen 3. I'm a little worried about 3.
So I think that TMNT, like the cartoon one that we watched previously, I think that retcons that TMNT 3 never happened, right?
So because I was thinking about that, and it's supposed to be canonical to these 3 movies, but I don't know if it's supposed to actually retcon the third one out. Like, I don't know if they tried to pull Superman Returns and say 3 and 4 didn't happen. But at the same time, we watched that one, and we even are questioning if it really is canonical to the series. So I
Yeah,
don't
because
know.
it's more canonical to the cartoon as far as like the bad guys and shit that they had on the walls. But regardless of that, Chuck, I have a really, really important question. You
Yo.
are a New Yorker.
Yo.
You have been to New York City, I would assume, at least a handful of times.
Correct.
Does everybody really walk around eating pizza all the time? Like, is it
Yeah,
just every person in there that's eating pizza?
What was up with that?
So yes. Short answer, yes. Long answer is yes, but not fucking like these weirdos do. It's usually like you are walking with a slice and you are just shoving it down your pie hole as fast as possible while also getting it all over the place. It's usually piping hot, but yeah, like
Well, I didn't
walking
mean
around
you
New York
specifically,
City.
Chuck. I meant everybody.
No, that's usually how people do it. It's just like they have a slice, it's fucking steaming hot, it's melting cheese dripping everywhere.
Yummy.
Not awkwardly standing, everybody eating a slice of pie. Though I am starting to wonder if this movie is where the birth of like New York has the best pizza theory comes from.
See, I don't know. I question that pizza because
That pizza was trash.
Yeah, well, also
Absolute
no self-respecting like pizza shop owner is gonna turn a pizza box with a pizza in it on its side.
I
What the fuck you doing?
need you to understand. I started watching this at the gym, and I all out loud just went, that delivery boy would get his ass absolutely handed to him if a pizza owner saw him do that. I was like, you gotta be kidding me right now. I was furious trying to hike up the treadmill at a 15 level incline at like 3 speed, death gripping the top of the treadmill so I don't fall off. Now
It's what kept Chuck
furiously
going.
angry watching this dork carry a pizza like an asshole.
Yeah, but the owner himself, the guy that gave him the pizza, also grabbed it off the top, turned it, to walk through like the crowd of people, and then put it in the bag. Like, it was just there's no way. There's no way that I worked at a pizza shop, and I'm not even like a pizza owner. Like, you don't do that.
Yeah, tell me those boxes are empty without telling me those boxes are empty.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
At least with Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2, when Peter was flying through the city, yeah, they were flying all over the place, but he tried to keep them as level as possible.
Correct.
Sort of.
He did.
I mean, he was swinging through the city.
He did best
so
he could.
yeah.
Yeah, that pizza looked awful.
Yeah.
Allegedly, the pizza that was being used in that opening scene was also used in Ernest Scared Stupid, when they're throwing a bunch of junk at the bullies in the tree at the very beginning, I guess. That's a movie I haven't seen in like a year.
No,
I
I haven't seen it in a lot longer than that.
I watched it last year for my 31st
Okay,
days of Halloween.
gotcha.
Before that, it's been a decade. Yeah.
I don't care for Ernest movies. He kind of weirds me out.
Oh, Jim Varney was great.
I'm sure. I
grew up on
it wasn't my yeah, that's the thing. I didn't grow up on it. It wasn't my thing.
That's fair. That's totally understandable.
I have heard that somebody had pitched the idea of a remake of Ernest, but they cast John Cena instead.
Yes. Well, because I think
because his face looks like him.
Well, either he cosplayed as Ernest at one point in time, or he had the same like color scheme on, and somebody took a picture and was like, Ernest P. Worrell right here. Yeah. Although he's also had a outfit that looked like Joe Swanson from Family Guy, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, John Cena is really good at trolling fans of things people want to see him in. Like when they were pushing the Hasbro stuff, he was pushing like to be in Mask. He wanted because he wanted to be in Mask, which based off the cars. Yeah, he was just sharing a bunch of stuff, and I guess he had like worn the suit or something of the main guy. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty clever.
God, that's a show I haven't thought of in forever.
I would love a Mask reboot.
Dude, if they could do a Mask live act. Well, look, they've already got a G.I. Joe and Transformers like combo movie coming out.
And he's in
live action.
And he's in Transformers.
He's in Bumblebee. Yeah.
Yeah. So
he could show up here at some point in time.
Cool.
If they throw a Mask in there, and even like I think there's another thing connecting ROM or something.
Yeah,
ROM Space Knight.
Yeah,
like
cool.
you kind of connect all these, that'd be great. I don't think it'll happen, but
probably not.
Be kind of great. Mask would work. Mask would work in the G.I. Joe world.
Yeah,
I think actually there was
especially just the Fast and the Furious with slightly less guns, probably at that point. But yeah,
well, no, because the guns are in the car, so
that's true.
More guns,
just different guns.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so this was my takeaway from this. I spoilers did not like this as much as the first one.
I mean, that's normal, yeah.
But as I'm watching it, I'm unveiling in my brain that this is Evil Dead 2 syndromed for me.
In that where they've lived up to their own tropes.
Yeah, that they kind of became too comical. They leaned into too much of the slapsticky. I think what I loved about the first one was because it had a slightly more serious-ish tone, and this was like very campy. But then I realized the first one is not really of the same element that the cartoon is, and this is very much of the element of what the cartoon was.
And there's a reason for that. The directors from the first one, I'm not going to say got booted, but they were not asked to come back, and they got new directors because the studio wanted to make this one in line with the cartoon because the cartoon was popular. So that's why, if you recall, you don't see the Turtles use any of their weapons outside of Donatello because it's just a bow staff. But I know it can be deadly. But like Leonardo, he doesn't pull out his katanas. The one time he does, he throws them up in the ceiling and then uses them like a holding,
which would not work.
100% would not work.
Would never work.
The only time you see Michelangelo's nunchucks is when they're on the counter when
April starts swinging them.
Yeah. And then Raphael does have the size like in his hands.
Punches somebody with them,
but it's the butt. It's not the actual pointy end. So
he does use it to catch the pizza.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Outside of that, though, they don't use it to actually fight with, and because they wanted to make it more kid friendly,
which is stupid.
100%. Especially after the first one was a little more like it wasn't serious, but it had more of a tone following the comic.
Oh, the first one was a lot more serious than this one was.
Well, then this one, yes, but I just meant in general. Like it had a serious tone to it, but it was in line more with the comic, the source material, than this one because this was in line more with the animated show that was out, at this time.
Did they not use their weapons actually in the cartoon?
No, they
I mean,
did.
they-
But it was
okay,
always
they-
like the back end, or they never actually like outside of a
They-
Mauser. Like they never actually cut anybody.
Have you seen the
I guess the foot
cartoon
clan was
thing
robot.
where Raphael, like where they're all doing like they're fighting Bebop and Rocksteady and Shredder, and like everybody says like some kind of like funny line to go along with what they're doing, and then Raphael just sitting there and is like and then he just stabs the Shredder in the stomach, and the Shredder dies, and all their other Nintendo's like, wait, but you didn't say anything, and he's like, yeah, but now he's not coming back. And they're like, wait, you mean we don't have to fight the Shredder all the time to keep him from trying to destroy the world? And they're like, no. And they're like, well, do you think this will work on the rest of our bad guys? And then it just goes through and like has them just killing everybody. Like Donatello pries Krang out of the suit and then just beats the shit out of the brain. And it's pretty hilarious.
I know
I'll
you
have to
shared
send
that
it
with
to you.
me. I don't know if you shared that with the group. I feel like you might have, but yeah.
Maybe
didn't share it.
I just didn't see it. But that's good. I like that. That's enjoyable.
Could we could have done this whole movie without Kino?
So yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Like-
get it. Surf ninjas was a thing or whatever, but like,
Well, also so that obviously, but he was the person inside. I think Donatello's suit. in the first
Leonardo
movie.
in the first movie.
But he was the guy inside the suit, and apparently he was so skilled. Like the company, somebody liked him. Is like, yeah, let's make him a role. Kino is not in the comics at all. This was his first and only appearance in any Turtles material. He was also brought in as I don't want to say buffer, but if you see, Casey Jones is not in this at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. That was my
Why
next
do you-
comment.
Why do you take Casey Jones out to put in this fucking dweeb?
Because Casey Jones was too violent. They're trying to tame the violence from him.
All right.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess what we should say is the first one actually more based off the comic book? Because, like, I know the comic book is a much more serious tone.
Yes.
For the most part, is a much more serious tone. And the second one, they really wanted to base off the cartoon.
Correct. So yeah, the
Stupid.
first one, it would
Dumb.
be, by that logic, the first one is more in line with the comic to a point, because even like they changed a lot of things. April
Right.
April wasn't a reporter in the comic; she was a lab assistant. She actually was a lab assistant to Baxter Stockman.
Yep. Gotcha.
Which in this, they actually wanted to have Baxter and Bebop and Rocksteady, but
Mhm.
Kirkman and Laird were like, no, we don't want that. So they replaced Stockman with this Professor Jordan Perry.
So
and then you had Topher and
very
Razor or whatever.
It's
Toka and
very
Razor.
obvious that he's supposed to be Baxter. Like it is very like even like his outfit was like the same thing that Baxter wears.
Yeah.
So watching this, I was like, oh, because I know the two goons are a replacement for Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yes.
Which, if the whole thing is essentially they were just reskinned, versions, like they just changed the names and the look, I would have been furious if that was actually Bebop and Rocksteady,
Right?
because that is not who Bebop and Rocksteady are.
No.
No.
They're goons, but they're
they actually
somewhat
think.
intelligent.
Yeah.
Goons. Yeah.
These now, Toka and Razor do show up in the comics. Actually, they show up on the show, the TV show,
Right.
in like season 7, and I think they do show up in the comics at some point in time. But as far as I'm aware, like Professor Perry doesn't. I could be wrong. Like I said, Kino doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So this takes place like what, like a couple days
That's what
after?
I was wondering.
Because when we see the Shredder at first, he's literally popping up out of the garbage. So either it happens like, next day or day after, or he just has some kind of immunity to like not dying because
You're not having to, eat or
eat or
whatever.
drink or breathe or any of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, my assumption is if it's not like a day or two after, it's even a week would be stretching it.
It's got to be less than 3 days because you can go
Yeah.
3 days without drinking before you die.
Yeah, but maybe he was drinking his own piss in the in the trash heap there.
Oh, you can do that up to 3 times before it's toxic.
Hey. Also, he's in the dump. Maybe he found something.
Gross.
Under all that. Yeah. Well, look, you'll do anything to survive, right?
No,
But I won't do that.
I mean, I guess it's.
that's for love.
Oh, my bad.
Do we actually know what it was?
No.
Oh, we do. He did a press conference about it. It was pegging. It was pegging. A lot of people don't know that, but he did a press conference. So
Somehow that doesn't.
yeah, I assume this was actually. By the way they made it sound, I was like, oh, he's gone. Like he's just gone, and like they're trying to like rebuild. So I thought it had been at least a couple of months.
Well, no, because the guys say like when the 8 of them are in that little dump area, he's like, no, this is where we were supposed to meet up if anything went wrong, and he's like, this is all of us that there are. So everybody else either got picked up or is missing. And I think there were between 6 and 8 guys in there, right?
Wasn't a
But
lot.
then, yeah. But then when Shredder tells
Tatsu,
he's like, hey, I want you to get your best men and go over to the lab and get me a sample of the stuff. And then he's got like 20 guys with him.
Okay, let's talk about that lab scene because
he didn't even need to pop out at all. He could have just ran away with the ooze.
Correct. And he did that, and he's just standing there the entire time as the foot soldiers are fighting, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna look like a badass being over here," and he looks like a complete tool because he literally did nothing.
That's the same thing he does when he gets taken out at the later on towards the end of the movie. He's just standing there. He doesn't even try to fight them or try to move. He just stands there and gets turtle assed to death.
Yeah,
too violent.
No, you're not wrong. Oh, also, so. Not to stem the violence, but apparently somebody, I think one of the guys that was in the suit was on some show back in like the early 2000s.
Man, I thought you were gonna say on drugs, but
well, that was Feldman, and that's why he wasn't in this movie. Allegedly, I say allegedly. Actually, he was in rehab. That's why he wasn't in this movie. So yeah, he apparently was in the suit, and the eye slits to see through the mask was only like really tiny and like 3 inches away from their face, so they really couldn't see through anything. So there are scenes where the turtles are like throwing a punch to nothing, and then one of the foot soldiers has to like lean in to get hit, and that's why none of the foot soldiers attack first. It's always the turtles attacking because they can't actually see. Yeah.
It is actually pretty impressive knowing that piece of information, how well they actually do then.
It doesn't look terrible.
No, like I thought the choreographed fights were fine. Some were better than others, but it was a lot of, we're going to stand here and have a guy do a bunch of moves to me, and then maybe I get to fight back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I did think the stuff with what was his name? Keno. I thought his actual like fight scene was all right.
Yeah, the one at the very beginning.
Yeah, in the very beginning. Although, who the fuck? Okay, so he's trying to deliver pizzas. He sees 2 vans parked with a bunch of stuff outside and thinks, "I'm just gonna immediately go check this out." I have to go deliver these pizzas.
He forgot he wasn't wearing his turtle outfit, okay?
Apparently. So then he goes down the stairs and he's like, sees these like robbers. And his immediate response is, "You're under arrest." Dude, you should have been killed right there. You are lucky. Why bad guys don't have guns? I know this was made for
too violent. Sorry, too violent, Chuck.
Yeah, but can't they just have the gun? They can't.
Well, they don't need the gun to break
it,
into the house or break into the stores. They don't need the gun. They need a crowbar.
But more importantly, so this kid, this pizza delivery guy, right, takes his pizza boxes in there to fight these guys. He hits the dude with the pizza boxes. The dude that he hits gently sets the pizzas down before he goes back and tries to fight him.
At least he
Like
knows.
that guy.
He respects pizza. He
That
knows
guy was
what pizza's
real.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, that was very nice of him. Good job, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, and this will go back to it's been longer because April has allowed the Turtles and Splinter to move into her apartment.
And it's
Almost
a
like
different apartment because her
It
last
is,
one
isn't
burnt
it?
down.
That's right. That's right.
But she had it fully furnished.
Immediately. I'm sure it was already fully furnished. She just killed whoever was in there before. Actually, that's what it was. Casey was taking the previous occupants like to New Jersey, and that's why he was not in this movie.
sure,
Yeah, I said it on the
sure.
show. It makes it's canon now.
That's canon.
Explain to me how he is. So I'm still bothered by this. How is he more violent? He was using sporting equipment.
Because sporting equipment is something easily accessible to kids in school.
But he
So-
could have. But they literally could have shot all of his stuff of him using the equipment to block and then just throwing punches. Literally, like the same thing that we just saw.
I mean, he kind of does that in the first one.
Yeah.
Now I know
hate this movie.
He is in the second one. Oh, I'm
Third.
sorry, the third one. The third one.
Yes, he is, but he's only in there briefly because he
Yeah.
deals with the guys
Going-
that get transported between the turtles. But we're not talking about that one. What we're talking about is
Well,
Splinter
I was
and how
gonna
he
bring
is
up
up on the roof, coming to a decision.
Okay. I was just gonna bring up that Casey Jones is in like 3 of the 5 live action movies, but okay.
Sorry, dude. That part cracks me up because the pause, like, you can't tell me that wasn't intentional.
It's a kids movie.
This is
Of
a
course it
kids
wasn't.
movie, Ron.
Uh-huh.
How dare you?
Shrek is a kids movie.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But like, and the fact that we've gotten all the memes from that now, or the sound clips, it's just perfect. Ah, good time.
Yeah.
I mean, The Road to El Dorado is also a kids movie.
I
And that dude's
fucking
flat out
love
getting
that
a
movie.
blowjob in that movie. So
That is one of my favorite movies still to this day. So,
great movie. It's the best
That's a-
DreamWorks movie ever made.
so I have another question for you, Chuck, based on New Yorkers.
Sure.
So, you guys are used to big fucking rats, right?
Accurate.
Okay, so then why do New Yorkers not pass out when they see the turtles, but always pass out when they see Splinter? He's the same size as your guys' sewer rats. I don't understand the problem.
Because we're not used to them talking. So like now we're realizing that the evolution of the rat taking over is very possible.
Could it also be that they've heard stories of a rat king and seeing a giant talking rat
Yeah,
could
that's true.
maybe
Oh.
mean there's a rat king?
There is a
Even
rat
though
king.
it's not the rat
He does
king
exist.
that you think. But
He's down there in the sewers with the alligators.
right there, exactly. I thought the little subway station that they found was a really cool, like base
Right,
operation
but there's
for-
no way that would have been far enough away from people to not attract attention when they relit it back up.
You're not wrong, because it's literally in the middle of the sewer system or something.
Well, that's the thing is, if it was part of a subway system, it would be part of a line, and that was like they had the booth right there for like the entry and everything to the subway system. So,
Well, so for what I saw, apparently that line, that subway line, is still active. Just this section was blocked off. That's
Yeah, that shit happens all the time in the city.
sure,
And
but
then-
if they were pulling that much power from the grid, somebody would have been sent down there.
No, it's a minimum 3-day job. It's going to take 3 days to get that cleared up. It's just going to inconvenience literally everybody.
also the turtles are now popular at the end of the movie, so they're okay. Like if they go down there to see the lair of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they'd be like, "All right, you're good. I'm out."
The
no,
end of the movie
Before we
was
get to the end of the movie, I do want to bring up one more thing in the subway thing. We're just going to overlook the fact that payphone that Donatello was using was not hooked up to literally anything.
I think he still had the lines hanging out the back of it.
but they were connected. They were broke. They were like, ripped out, like
Oh,
dangling.
Hey, it's Donatello. He's the he does machines. So like,
Yeah, he does machines all right.
Yo, Donatello was. I remember why I didn't like Donatello as a kid. He's insufferable in this movie.
He very much so. He was a tryhard.
Yeah. I almost started liking Leo a little bit more, and I was like, that can't be right. That's not right. Mikey is still the best. Like
Mikey's
Mikey
still the
was
Mikey
Literally.
is literally the best. If you read The Last Ronin, you'll find out that he's the
Spoiler alert.
what? Oh yeah, for a book that you've already spoiled for me like 20 times.
Whatever.
I finished it now, so it's fine.
Yay.
But even then, like even when I said the last movie, Michelangelo was fighting all three of the other Ninja Turtles by himself every time they were practicing.
Yeah.
He's the best.
The Shredder is a groomer.
Yeah.
When Kino brings up that he's looking for people to join his clan, he's like, he says he wants anybody that's got martial arts skills, but he'd prefer teenagers. And I'm like, oh, what a groomer.
Well, Also, speaking of trying to do the tryouts for the Foot Clan, did you guys see Michael Jai White in there?
I did not.
Yeah.
No.
He's when Kino walks up, he is in that group of people to go into the warehouse, and then you don't see him again.
It's because he didn't make the cut. He was too old.
Probably. Because this is 91, so it's what Toxic Avenger was 89, 2 and 3 was
Pre-Spawn,
89.
but post Toxic Avenger, yeah.
So he definitely was too old. He wasn't a teenager.
Yeah.
But that's like the third or fourth Michael Jai White appearance already. Like,
Yeah, he gets around, man.
I'm just saying, like, I need to actually do a
Should
roll call of how many, like, who our highest person is that we've had on the show. I'll get that
so
eventually.
speaking of ages and stuff, though, so it took the Ninja Turtles a long ass time to go from like when they mutated, right?
One would say about 15 years.
Exactly. To get from being baby turtles to being full grown teenagers. How is it that Toka and Razor, which were both supposed to be baby animals, were full sized?
Well, Perry did say that he had tweaked the Ooze one to keep the those two like immature, but maybe that's what, like, he just kind of tweaked it enough so that they didn't mature and didn't get that ability to be cognitive, I guess. Well, no, they were
Also,
cognitive, but just not
if
smart.
Razor was supposed to be a wolf, why was he shaggy and brown?
Don't wolf shame, man.
Chuck, are you alive, bud?
That's a really good question. I'm also thinking now, with your whole comment that he's a groomer, the part where he gets mad about them being babies, maybe he was excited that they were babies.
I mean,
He did get excited when they called him Mama, and he realized he could get them to do whatever he wanted to.
actually, he was mad at them calling him Mama. He wanted to be called Daddy.
No, he wanted to be called Master.
So, there we go. So yeah, that adds to the groomer.
All right.
And then when they lift up the car, they're like, "Oh yeah, I can work with this."
Yeah, I just assumed they got more ooze.
That's actually a good question, because how did Shredder get that giant vial of ooze at the very end when I thought Perry used it all on Toka and Razor?
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
I think he said that he had to make more, that Shredder made him make more.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I feel like he said that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like he said that. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
So-
I also come to the conclusion that the Foot Clan are worse than like any Power Rangers,
Putty.
like Putty Patrol, or like the secondary monsters that they gotta beat up. They're worse than them, and they are bad. So
Yeah, I mean, at least the Putty Patrol were at least able to go and retrieve something and come back with it
from time to time,
from time
and
to time.
they even beat up a ranger from time to time.
Yeah,
The Foot
like
Clan
the,
is
just like mass
terrible.
Well,
quantity.
the Foot
when they
Clan
could-
has beat up Raphael on 2 separate occasions.
That just means Raphael sucks.
Well, something I noticed is whenever the turtles, like whenever you would see their shells, Raphael's is the only one that's got a bunch of like chips and nicks and dents
He's
and
got like
shit
a
in it.
weird dent on his back, but I didn't know if that was on purpose or
I
if
thought it
it
was-
was like the costume just getting the shit kicked out of it.
I mean, that's
I thought it was
possible
supposed
too.
to be on purpose from like the first movie where he gets the absolute shit kicked out of him. You know,
I mean, he
Yeah,
does
probably.
ask for it more than the rest of them.
that's
So,
fair.
That tracks.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Sure.
mad that we still don't get Vigilante Ralph in this.
I
Who the
we
hell is
gotta
Ralph?
Whatever, Raph.
really-
I think I did that in the last one too. I
You,
kept calling
you
him
did that
Ralph.
in the last one or in the animated one?
Yeah,
we
isn't it
did-
Ralph? Is it Raphael? I'm pretty sure it's Raphael.
I think there's no L in the middle of it.
Raphael.
Raphael.
Raph.
Hey, Raffle.
I mean, we did get a Vigilante Raph in the cartoon, and
True.
a little bit in the first one. A
Kinda.
little bit,
Yeah.
not a lot.
That was
A little bit.
Trenchcoat Raph. That is
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, not wrong.
So when Donatello is breaking into the computer at the when he started talking, I'm just like, he is talking absolute gibberish and just like random words that whoever wrote the script had heard about computers.
Yep.
That was all that was.
I also appreciated when he was typing in things on the computer and like saying, "Look, this one it's active, and this one or deactivated, and this one deactivated." But it was like not matching up with what he was actually like. The computer screen rolling was not matching up with what he was actually saying or doing. Yeah, that was kind of bad.
I love that
Yeah.
they just like they just added all that in post and didn't even try to
100%.
like, make it line up. Yeah.
100% they did.
Was all of the turtles dialogue? I would assume.
ADR?
Was like put in after.
I would assume a giant chunk of it probably was.
Interesting.
Because this
I would
was,
assume that it all is.
and they may all have been. Well,
Because
no,
they're not-
the first one definitely was because like the people in the suits were not the people doing the voice.
Same
Right.
thing here.
I don't know because I think the people in the suits were actually doing the voice.
I don't think they were because if you look at the casting, it's got 2 separate people for each Ninja Turtle.
Did it? Because they didn't show it on the credits when they rolled.
Oh, I don't know, but I just know that when I was looking up the cast, like it had 2 different people for Michelangelo, 2 different people for Donatello, so on and so forth.
I guess that makes sense.
Okay. Jewish Shredder. Yeah. See, actually, no, it doesn't have that. What? Oh, that's not what I want.
I don't know. I'm just curious because like I would assume them doing those scenes where like April's talking to the turtles or the turtles
Oh,
talking
yeah,
to
there it is.
themselves would probably be like really hard to do. Even I mean, yes, obviously they are piping it in because otherwise it would just sound super muffled. But I would just assume it would be really hard to get through those scenes unless somebody else.
Not
was
necessarily. They
reading.
could do like they did with Chewie, where he actually says the lines, then had it was just copied
Right, but
over.
even
Or even with Vader, where David Prowse said the line so that whoever he was acting against knew what to say, and then James Earl Jones did the voiceover afterwards. I think so because the masks themselves, like those were being puppeteered, like remote controlled to do the lines. All those guys need to do is have the script to mimic what the mouse should do while they say the lines.
that is a level of intricacy to puppeteering that my brain could never comprehend.
Well, because the first one got as popular as it did, it made money. They got to actually up the budget for the costumes. That's why they were able to actually puppeteer it separately like that.
Interesting. Yeah, you can really tell where they threw a lot of this extra money they got in special effects and cameos and not good script writing.
No.
Yeah.
All right, Ron, do
I
you
mean,
just want to talk about it?
the ninja rap. Is that
Yep.
what we're talking about?
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, where do we start with this? Don't get me
Go
wrong.
ninja,
Like
go ninja, go. There, start with that.
the fact that they cameoed in Vanilla Ice for this, uh, that was the peak of his career.
Kind of was.
So
Yeah, but at the time he was the one of the biggest fucking stars
that's
of
what I'm saying.
his
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
It was the peak of his career. So like when we saw this as kids, it was like, oh, that's so awesome. You know, it's got Vanilla Ice in it, and like I will still listen to the ninja rap. All right, I'm just saying.
Oh,
But
it's catchy. It's good.
but now you look
Wow.
back and you're like,
Catchy, at least.
this is really where Vanilla Ice peaked right here. Was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah. My takeaway was I'm like, right, this is made for kids. That was my first one. I was like, okay, this is made for kids. My second takeaway was he was the hottest thing at the time. It makes sense if you're going to do something for kids, you're going to bring him in because you can't bring any of the other hip hop artists that were
Yeah,
hot
they
at
know
that
better.
time. Yeah,
They
they're
know
not
better.
bringing in NWA. You know what I mean? Like,
MC Hammer saying no to this one.
yeah. And also, I appreciated the fact that they worked essentially the theme song from the soundtrack and the single off the soundtrack actually into the movie and not just had it like play in the background during a fight scene. Like it like actually was part of the movie, which I thought was like kind of good. I kind of liked that. I feel like that's a bit of a lost art. Like in the 80s we saw it a lot, especially in like what was that group called? Not the Brat Pack. What were they called? It's the Brat Pack?
Talk about oh crap.
Like the 16
Sinatra?
Candles crew and the
Oh.
Breakfast Club and all those. Like they would like the single to the soundtrack was somehow integrated into a scene where it made sense. It just didn't play in the background.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like this is we're getting kind of towards the end of that.
So talk about Vanilla Ice here. After the original movie had been unanticipated success or had seen an unanticipated success in sales of the soundtrack, Golden Harvest committed a $25 million budget for this movie, but with principal technology already developed by the Jim Henson Creature Shop. The decision was made to invest heavily in the film's soundtrack. In fact, Vanilla Ice has an appearance in the movie performing ninja rap and features the Turtles doing a perfectly choreographed dance to it. Which it was the fact that they were able to dance to that was in the costumes was impressive. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But investing that much into the soundtrack, yes, Chuck, you're right. Integrating this song into the movie and not just a background like Ghostbusters, you know,
Right.
this one actually made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Was it needed? Not
No.
really.
No, but I guess I understand. Like, I can see why they went with it. If the first one soundtrack did so well, why would you not want to invest in it to potentially make a shit ton more money again?
Sure, but again,
I didn't say it was good logic. I just said I understood.
Well, sure, yes,
Hey,
but
I have the original soundtrack for the first one, so
it's
that's
good.
fair. I don't. I don't know. Like, just the fact that it didn't feel shoehorned in, sort of. Like, I understand having a rave at a building on the pier,
a
like,
warehouse on the pier.
Yeah, like that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that wasn't a rave. That was actually a club that they were in because they had those two. Yeah, they had those two greasy-haired guys that were putting it on, like in the back, and he's like, "Call the cops," because if it was a rave, they wouldn't have called the cops.
I thought they were just Vanilla Ice's like management team.
No, those are like the club owners.
Okay.
Yeah, they had like the greasy ponytails, like all the club owners did in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, having like a dance club in a rundown warehouse that got like rebuilt is not unheard of.
Yeah, no, that tracks.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
very like Brooklyn thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But and that's why I said like it doesn't feel shoehorned in because like the turtles bust in with the two goon monsters, and then a beat starts happening, and you see Vanilla Ice like oh, I like this. Okay, let's go. And then he starts singing Ninja Rap. Like it just spur of the moment. Get it? Okay, cool. That's great. Like it feels coherent.
It is a little weird that he went with the word ninja, despite the fact that they don't really look like ninjas, except for the foot dudes look like ninjas.
But
He
there weren't any
goes.
Foot Clan in there at that point in time.
Yeah, they came in after the fact.
Oh yeah, good point. I guess they still don't look like ninjas.
No.
They look
No.
like turtles. Also, why is nobody
And a wolf.
terrified of them?
Well, the one guy
I told you.
But the one guy said, "Oh, those are good costumes. Those are really cool costumes." They thought it was a party. They thought it was a Halloween party or something.
Also, nobody would think those were good costumes.
That's what the guy there in
I disagree.
1991 said.
I would have thought those were amazing. I still think today that those would be amazing costumes to see at a party.
Yeah, but I don't think you would have looked at it and been like, "Oh, this makes sense for this setting. Why these guys are dressed like this."
Now that's fair.
Right. That was my point.
Okay.
Also, should have
well-
just been "Go Turtle, Go Turtle, Go." That's all I'm saying. It still works. Same amount of syllables. It's fine.
True. Well, Chuck, when we outro, you can sing "Go Turtle, Go Turtle, Go."
Oh, I
Go
might.
Scooby, go Scooby, go.
All right. So when they are essentially walking into the trap, when they are trying to get Raphael back,
Alf.
Donatello's supposed to be this super smart guy, and yet he's like, "Oh yeah, if it was me, I'd be popping a trap on us right about." And then they just keep walking into the trap. Like if he had the foreknowledge,
They'd already stopped when he was saying that.
that's what I'm saying though.
He had stopped and like flipped open his watch, like right about now.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, why would you just walk into the trap? Also,
speaking of the trap, though, apparently one of the stuntmen broke their leg when the trap fell.
When
they got let go. Yeah, he broke his leg on the fall.
Speaking of that part, though, Splinter being a dead shot with a bow, why didn't he just take care of the Shredder right then and there?
The Shredder's protected by all that metal, whatever.
He shot through a rope that's this wide. The slit in his face visor is like this big and like that wide. He could have right the head.
The rope was 3 feet away. Shredder was 6. I don't know. He hadn't gotten LASIK yet. He lives down in the sewers. His eyesight's terrible.
Speaking of the Shredder and his suit, the Ooze was so transformed from the original Ooze that it transformed his suit.
His armor?
Why?
Yeah, I
Why?
thought the same exact thing. I was like, I didn't want to bring it up because I was afraid that I had just missed the part where he got new armor, and I was like,
"Oh no!"
They specifically like
armor
because like the mask specifically became solid so that you can't see it's Kevin Nash and not Francis Cho or however you pronounce his name.
Do you have any information about why it was Kevin Nash?
So it's supposed to be
that he's tall.
Let's see here. It was supposed to be Kevin Peter Hall, who was Predator and Harry from Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah,
but he fell ill before filming even started. So Kevin was approached. Let's see here. He was offered the role of Super Shredder at a WCW live event in Greensboro, North Carolina, when he was caught off guard by two Calico. I don't know how to say the damn word. Studios employee who gave Nash their business card as he was about to head ringside. Nash was chosen due to his height and because the original actor or the actor originally cast, Kevin, was too ill to film for the part in the movie, which he died immediately before the movie was released. Nash immediately accepted the offer, wrestled his match, and later found himself in a hotel room with breathing straws in his nostrils as he got a head cast molded for his costume.
Nice.
Nash said he made more money from this movie than he did in his first year as a professional wrestler.
That's
And yet, when they did the Turtles as wrestlers in like the 2000s, Kevin Nash was not one of the wrestlers they chose. Where was it that I saw it here a little bit ago.
Wrestlers? Oh, so, the action figure line?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. They did. Hold on, I can remember. They did Piper, Macho, Undertaker.
Maybe it's because it was
John
WWF, and not.
Well, he was Diesel.
So okay, here we go. So when the Turtles first encountered Toka and Razor, Michelangelo asks, "Didn't we see these guys on WrestleMania?" In fact, Kevin Nash, who later makes 5 WrestleMania appearances, including one as WWF champion at WrestleMania 11.
Yep.
25 years after this movie's release, so that would be what, 2006? 25 years? It'd be 16.
No, 2016.
Or 16. Yeah.
I had bought the first wave of the toy line.
Action figures ended up being produced of Ninja Turtles dressed as pro wrestlers, including Raphael as The Rock and Sting.
Oh, that's what I was talking.
Michelangelo as Macho Man Randy Savage and Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
And Donatello as the Ultimate Warrior and the Undertaker.
Ultimate Warrior, that was the other one. Yeah.
Ironically, no turtle figure was ever dressed as Kevin Nash.
There's not enough. So all of those characters that they chose were very dynamic outfits. And,
they have ridiculous outfits that you could.
Yeah. Sure. Nash never had a ridiculous looking. Okay. I mean, kind of. He had pants and that singlet was tucked into, but nothing that would have like stuck out.
But I do kind of find it a slap in the face, though. Like, this was a wrestler that was in this movie. You could have given him something.
Well, he could have gotten better costumes than he might have gotten it. I mean,
what is more interesting is that they say, so from my understanding, because he was in WCW when this happened, and WCW does not do a collaboration for the launch of this movie. They don't even really acknowledge it on television that he was Super Shredder. They make like 1 or 2 comments during a match, and that was it. And the reason was because the line of didn't I see these guys at WrestleMania was directly commenting on their opponents at the time, which was WWF.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, okay. So WCW wanted nothing to do with this movie. They also were feeling a little bit of the burn from their collaboration when they did RoboCop 2. And so they didn't want to do that, which is weird because essentially Crow Sting is because of the movie The Crow. So they do that. And then is it 99? 98, 99? They do this weird crossover at a Halloween Havoc where not Scott Steiner, Rick Steiner is being like stalked by somebody, and it's revealed that it's Chucky. That's all it is. There's no payoff to it. It's just finally revealed at Halloween Havoc that it was Chucky right around the time when Bride of Chucky was coming out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. That's it. Stupid as fuck, but yep.
Oh, man.
Good times.
All right.
So when they are transporting Toka and Razor into the city to cause havoc, and the trailers are rocking, like...
Oh, yeah, they were fucking for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also love that these big 2 hulking things couldn't destroy the most shabbiest built cart of wood I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't even think that thing would have actually held their weight.
No, it wouldn't have held us. I mean, come on.
No. And the gate, the tiniest little gate, and the back is fucking open on it. They could have easily jumped out at any time.
But their mama said no.
Yeah, I guess. I was just like, that's dumb. Literally, my exact words were, that was dumb. It was baffling to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
the police.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The police chief, when April tries to do the interview with him or tries to get information from him, like I just have to throw out a 1-3-1-2 on this because he is just a terrible cop. Like, does he give a shit that anything is going on? He's just like, yeah, so we're gonna do like we do with everything, and just pretend this doesn't exist, and then he walks away.
Well, it's also great when April goes up to him, like, off the record, I know who did this. You need to look for a couple animals. So yeah, what they look like? Who are they? I can't. Don't really know. Oh yeah, and all this other information. I don't really know. So why don't you just let us not know stuff? And or I can't remember what he said. Basically saying about something about not doing his job, which I just kind of laughed at because
Because that's the second time in these movies that he's told her to let him do his job.
which is
Yeah,
nothing
pretty much.
apparently. Because
Yeah.
So
Splinter at the end of the movie making the joke about when he's
Yeah.
like, "Were you seen?" And they're like, "Of course not. We practiced the art of ninjutsu." And he's like, "Oh, practice harder," and holds up the newspaper.
that I like that. But
I
then
did too because
the Go Ninja Go. I'm like, yeah, that's a little too far.
he wouldn't even have known that.
Correct.
It wouldn't have said that in the newspaper article.
I loved the idea that they were using smoke bombs that made the smallest little puff. Also, the point was not to throw the smoke bomb at the person. The point is to throw the smoke bomb
On
down
you.
where you are so you can run away.
Yeah.
But I guess because they're evil, it does make a lot more sense that you would just bomb the person with a smoke bomb. And then, because I guess you wouldn't want to inhale. So maybe it was actually super genius. You don't want to throw a smoke bomb where you're standing because you don't want to inhale the smoke. But the idea of like throwing a smoke bomb to make them like flinch, and then all of a sudden there's this insane amount of smoke that doesn't make any sense of how it came out, does make a little bit more sense. What I didn't like was in the training part where they're like, we're ninjas. We move in the shadows or something like that. And then he just holds up a bunch of smoke bombs. It's like, that's not, you move in the smoke, you idiot. Not the fucking shadow.
Oh, love it.
This was not very good.
So
Anyway.
in the original script, the film was to end on a cliffhanger with Professor Perry being revealed to be a robotic shell for an Ultram, the aliens from the original comic, who created the Ooze to power their technology. This was dropped due to the fear of kids mistaking it for Krang, a villain of the cartoon, who was based on the Ultrams. While at the time the Ultrams were not known outside the comics, they would later be officially adapted to the media for the first time in the later Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003 cartoon series, which notably was much closer to the original comics than its animated predecessors. Yeah, like, and apparently they actually had the Ultrams and like the Triceratons, but they're trying to actually make this closer to the comics. I think originally it was going to be the storyline, which I don't know, Ron, if you remember, when the Ultrams come in and we get the reveal that they're the ones who created the Ooze that made the Turtles who they are, and then they get transported to a whole different world, meeting the Triceratop people.
The Dimension X or whatever?
I don't think it was Dimension X just yet. I could be wrong. It's been a minute since I've read that one, so I don't remember all the details.
Right.
But they took all that, and so we never actually got what the secret of the Ooze was in this movie because they took away what it was supposed to be. But then
Name makes more sense now.
Then they were going to go into like the second storyline from the comics with Baxter Stockman, with the Mousers, with the attack on the Turtles, and then they went away from that. They didn't say, I didn't find out why they went away from that one, but like that's the reason why we have Perry instead of Stockman. That's the reason why we have Toka and Razor instead of Bebop and Rocksteady. So, yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
A little sad we didn't get a live action Bebop and Rocksteady until 2014, 2016. The second
I still haven't seen those yet.
I enjoyed them. I thought they were decent. We'll get to them when we get to them, but like I think I think I like them better than this one. I don't know if we ever do. I don't know, like a Patreon, talk about reboots. Maybe we'll check out those or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Head over to patreon.com/professional casual and check out our new series, Getting Franchised, with Joey and Chuck.
And sometimes Katie.
And sometimes Katie.
In parentheses, got to have that in there.
Who's Katie?
Katie is my friend who is a really good like cinephile and knows a lot about movies and has a really good take. And it's the flow will work really, really well because a lot of really good, smart information. And then Joy and I just talk about the things we liked, which is pretty much boobs.
Yeah, ultimately, she could never be on this show because we don't have actually intelligent conversations. We
Yeah,
just-
absolutely, 100%. Yep,
Yeah.
100%.
Damn.
But yeah, so
That's all my notes. So
yeah,
I didn't have a lot for this because I'll be honest, for a movie that was only an hour and a half long, this was a slog to kind of get through.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
I
There
still
was
liked
some
it.
enjoyable stuff in it. Yeah, like it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But and when we get to scores, it might reflect like it was kind of on par with the first one for me. Like, and I wasn't really a fan of the first one. Which
Oh,
is
see, I really
surprising.
loved the first one.
Oh,
but-
I know you gave it a 9.95.
yeah,
for the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure you did.
so
What did I give it? Do you remember?
it was also high. I want to say it was like in the.
You gave it an 8.2.
There we go.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I definitely liked the first one better than the second one. But I think it just really copies the sentiment that I feel anyway. So anyway, kill count, Joe?
1, and that was Shredder at the end. Which technically I need to go back and take off a kill for the first one. I think since Shredder didn't die, right?
No, because we said that we didn't see him not die, so it still counted.
Okay.
I think that's how we worked that out.
I don't remember. That's also a lot of work.
I don't know. You changed the rule on the. We changed the rules. We'll stay
Wait.
hard on droids, but we'll bounce back and forth on if we see them die or not die. Does it count?
Hey, Chuck, how does the spawn cape work?
Yes, but that is consistently dumb. When we from the start are saying this scale doesn't work, it is a running gag. That's fine. Joey's stuff is actually legitimate.
Oh,
I'm
thanks.
just
Appreciate
saying,
that.
don't count droids.
Or no,
clones.
droids count and clones count because they're people. They talk. They have
Yeah.
dialogue. Anyway,
If that's the case, then most of the foot soldiers, well, they didn't technically die.
they didn't die. They all just got beat up or
Yeah,
ran themselves into a punch because they, turtles couldn't see.
that's also true.
So, all right, bingo. Oh, I guess I forgot to talk about the Bart Simpson Cup, which would be product placement, but
Yeah, I've got product placement, government interference, comic logic, ID revealed to a friend because it's a little pizza kid, an origin reveal because
because the Ooze,
animal cruelty, unexplainable science, cameos, talking tropes, meme origins, and a training montage. Although it wasn't really a montage, it was just kind of a couple scenes, but I count it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. So at one point they clean up April's apartment, but leave the pizza boxes everywhere.
Yeah, maybe they didn't. Maybe they weren't allowed to take out the trash.
Mm,
We established they're not very good ninjas for hiding and stealth.
you're not wrong. But all right, Chuck. Spawn
Yeah.
King.
Man, I don't know. So the costumes are on par with the first one. I thought like the
Slightly
puppet.
better.
I actually think I like the first ones better.
I did see the neckline. Like I saw like the helmet neckline on the turtles this time around.
Yeah, but we get more animatronic out of the
That is true.
helmet, so like I get an improvement. But Toka and Razor look cool. Like I think that was a nice upgrade.
They
Super
definitely
Shredder
look like
still does look neat.
Yeah. Oh,
Toad-
Super Shredder looked amazing.
Toka and Razor look like Jim Henson Productions.
Yes.
100%. But he had
like-
passed away because they say like in
Yeah, he passed
memory.
away
Yeah.
before this film came out. Ben Henson, his son, was supposed to be on this, doing it, but like actually him himself working on this, but he had other obligations. I don't know what movie, what show, whatever. So somebody from the company did work on it, but it wasn't Jim and it wasn't Ben.
Well,
Yeah.
Simon had made the comment. He's like, the Ninja Turtles just look like Ninja Turtles. They don't look like Jim Henson had anything to do with them. But then you get Toka and Razor, and they look straight up out of like the Labyrinth or
Dark Crystal,
like
yeah, man.
Dark
Yeah.
Crystal. Yeah,
Yeah, they don't look like they don't fit the aesthetic of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles very well.
Correct.
Which is like weird because like, do y'all remember? I think maybe it was a Power Rangers suit of like a pig with a monocle and it wore armor.
that sounds like a Power Ranger bad guy.
Yeah, but I felt like it was like a goon to one of them.
He's the little dude that does all the clay stuff.
No, that's Finster. I'll have to try it. No, it's not Finster. I'm thinking of because this was like a legitimate pig face guy with a monocle.
Because the only pig face guy I can think of was, and I can't remember his name, but like he did all the eating of the food, and it was just like a giant pig head with like.
Yeah, it wasn't him. Porky
yeah,
Pig. Yeah, it wasn't him.
Is that his name? I don't remember his name.
Hold on.
And I'm not saying that there wasn't a pig monster at some point.
Pudgy
Pig.
Pudgy
Yeah,
Pig.
Pudgy. Thank you. I'm not saying there wasn't another pig monster in Power Rangers ever.
Yeah,
just it's not ringing a bell for me at the moment.
I'll have to look it up because I definitely am scratching my brain now. Anyway, I always think of that as like looking like a Jim Henson thing out of like, but didn't fit the same theme. And sometimes I think that same character is in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe, and it's not.
Anyway, Spawn Cape.
I don't know, 47 out of 62. That's pretty good. It's all right. Oh, was it an Astromina from
Mordant.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Looks like Token. Yeah, it looks like Token and Razor. Like,
yeah,
it looks like a Token and Razor guy.
He is on Villains Wiki. Servant of Rita Repulsa, Lord Zed. Yeah, Servant of Ivan Ooze. He was in the movie.
Oh, he was in the movie.
There we go.
That's why his quality was so much better. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes. I wonder if Jim Henson worked on.
Let me check.
I don't know. That's a good question. Well, the obviously not him. He's dead by then. But...
Well, yeah, he was definitely dead.
Yeah. Speaking of, there's I don't remember what their TikTok is, but they do a really good series called "Is Your Favorite Celebrity a Terrible Person?" And they did Jim Henson, and pretty much the extent of it was the horrible things that they could find about Jim Henson was that he was dedicated to his work and neglected his family a lot.
That's the bad thing. Okay.
That is a bad thing, Joey.
Yeah, that's a bad. Stop ignoring your family, Joe.
But that's the worst they can find on Jim Henson. Come on.
Yeah, that was about. Maybe there was a little domestic.
I'll take that over like any of these other parents who neglect their kids to go party. Okay.
Yeah, super fair. I don't. Maybe there was like a domestic violence-y thing, but I don't remember. Maybe not. But like the biggest thing was like he was just super dedicated to his work, and he was never around for his kids, and his kids always, like even to this day, still kind of hold it against him. Like they literally worked on projects so they could spend time with his dad.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, but and I understand the man was stupid busy. Like he had the Muppets, he had all of the other like Labyrinth and all of these projects he was working on, and he was being tapped constantly to come up with these puppeteer stuff. You know, Fraggle Rock, Sesame Street. Like he had so much that he was working on constantly. So yeah, I can get that he'd be away from his family all the time.
Sure, but I mean, he liked the puppets more than he liked his family. So like,
well,
yeah,
that was the moneymaker. So yeah,
that's fair. Chuck.
They also talk about Dark Crystal being a failure. That was like separate. interesting.
Which is
Really?
interesting because I've never seen Dark Crystal, but I know the legacy of it and how much people love it.
It is one of those things where people fell in love with it long after it was like actually a flop in theaters and
Oh, interesting. Okay.
was
Gotcha.
Wait, am I thinking Dark Crystal or am I thinking Labyrinth?
Labyrinth was definitely not a flop, and well, maybe it was. I don't know. It had
I
David
might
Bowie
be
and
because he
Jeff
worked on
McCoskey,
both,
like,
right? He worked
Yeah,
on
yeah.
both. Oh, it might be Labyrinth, not Dark Crystal. I'm thinking. I'm sorry. Anyway, my score. All right. Is this a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie? Yes, it is. It
You
is
sound
more of a
really
teenage. Well, it's more of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie for the cartoon than it is for the comic, right? We
true.
established that.
That's fair.
I struggled to get through it. It was only an hour and a half. I still love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I remember thinking that I liked this one more, and I'm wrong. I'm gonna say 5.3. I would not watch. I would not watch this on my own again. But if other people wanted to watch it, sure.
That's fair.
right.
Yeah. I'll show my nephew this, but I couldn't get him to sit through the first one. So
Just show him like a couple scenes. Show him the final fight scene with Ninja Rap.
yeah, I'll show him. But it does kind of say something because like he will sit through the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles new one, but he won't sit through these.
The Mutant Mayhem or the
Yeah,
new,
he
like,
sat
live
through
action?
Mutant
Okay.
Mayhem and enjoyed it, but he
Yeah,
won't
but those
sit through
also
these.
have a lot more pop in your face action type of stuff.
Yeah, true. I just say he says he likes Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I just realized that like he has it is a generational thing, and he has his turtles, and it's that
Mhm.
version.
That's
Yep.
fair.
Yeah,
Right.
it depressed me a little bit.
All right. So I obviously didn't like this as much as I like the original one. The original one is, a classic, and it's a fucking awesome movie. This one does not quite live up to the standards that the first one set. Like you guys said, it's a little bit goofier. It's got less of a serious storyline to it. It's got less of a storyline to it in general, realistically. And that could be because of the changes that Joey said they went through, in the process of making it. But I still like it for the most part. It still, like kicks in the nostalgia a little bit. I gave it a 7.12. What about you, Joey?
Yeah, this one is it's not, in my opinion. I remember it more than the first one. I remember parts of this more than the first one. I said that when I watched the first one. But even at that, like, there's not a lot in here that I liked. Like, the very end was kind of fun, kind of goofy. I remember Ninja Rap because as a kid, song, turtles dancing, and kicking butt, like, it all just kind of meshed and was awesome. Super Shredder was amazing. Looked great when I was a kid.
Mhm.
Still looks good in my eyes.
We just didn't get enough of him.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's really about it. Like, the story, especially after finding out what the story could have been, and the fact we never actually figure out what the secret of the Ooze is, story's kind of crap. And yeah, like, I don't like, other than that, like, it wasn't the greatest. And honestly, I'm not gonna watch. I don't think I'll ever watch this again, if I'm being honest. Like, maybe I'll watch scenes, but that's about it. I don't see my kids ever wanting to ever watch this movie, so like, I don't have to worry about ever trying to watch it with them.
No, the girls definitely won't have any
No.
interest in it at all.
But like, I know I took Bella to go see the other two, and she liked those.
Well, but also like Chuck said, it's a generational thing, and
It
it's
is.
also those definitely hit different than these do because they're not people in costumes.
Yeah, they're CGI, but
Yeah,
they,
and
I mean,
it's also they're also actual like blockbuster like because by the time those came out, Ninja Turtles was just a standard like
yes, that's the other thing. This one, the whole reason why they pushed this movie to come out as quickly as they did, because it's only like a year, like
2 years.
2 years difference.
No, just a year because it was 1990 and 1991, I
Yeah,
think.
so there you go. The company that did this thought that it was just a flash in the pan. They wanted to try and hone in on the success, not realizing that the animated show was gonna be like as big as it was and kind of keep the Ninja Turtles in pop culture, especially our generation.
Well, I was gonna say, I think the biggest thing to realize is like the Turtles are. I won't say they're like necessarily a commentary of the time, but like when this movie came out in the '90s, everything like their dialogue and the way it looks, like it is a product of the time it's released.
Yes.
And the one thing that Turtles has done really good at is changing the characters to adapt to what teenagers are for that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why you can't show this to younger people, because they can't relate to the characters like they have been able to as they've grown and progressed.
Agreed. I do, and it is on our list. There is a animated show or animated movie that has like brings all of the animated and like the comic Turtles together in like a multiversal thing. Like I said, it's on our list. I think it was shown on Nickelodeon. Like it was Nickelodeon movie, made for TV movie. But like I want to see that. I actually do want to watch that because it has the 1980s and early 90s animated show. It has the original black and white version. It has the 2003 version of Turtles and like a couple other ones mixed in there. So seeing that, seeing the different iterations of what these teenagers would be for their time all brought in together, I think it's kind of cool. I'm really looking forward to watching that when we get to it. It's going to be a while because again, it's animated. It's in the 2000s sometime and like late 2010s, I think, maybe mid 2010s. So it won't be a while before we get to it, especially since we still have like 6 months doing these other movies just to get us back into the 2000s. All that to say, I gave this a 4.52. It was enjoyable. This is lower than what I gave the first one. I like the first one better, and I didn't like the first one a lot.
It's very rare that Joey scores lower than you and I, Ron.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Technically, just for the Turtles.
They do. How hurt you, Joey? Jesus.
Yeah.
So what happens when I have to make him watch Hellraiser?
You know what the problem is? The Turtles can swim and Joey can't.
Oh! Did you take that personal, Joe? Oh, you need to adapt to your surroundings, Joey. You need to be the turtle. You know, it's a good thing they didn't actually shoot those scenes because they would have sunk so fucking fast in those costumes.
They would have
like
got like shocked
sponges
because of the electric whatever signals.
Oh yeah, the suits alone are essentially just giant sponges.
Yeah,
they would have soaked and then had hundreds of pounds pulling them down.
It would have been bad. Yeah, so that gives us a combined score of 5.65, which drops it in at number. Oh, hey, it's tied for number 65 with Phantom Menace, and that had 4 of us on there.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah,
that's low. I guess it's. I mean, obviously, it
is
not a great spot for it, but it's fair. It's a fair spot.
Just under half. This is our 120th movie, so it's just below the halfway point.
Yeah, well, a mediocre score for a mediocre movie. Like, yeah, I think watching this, I think the fact that they were trying to make it specifically for kids hurt it, and I also think it did feel like a cash grab.
100%.
But weirdly less. I mean, there was product placement, but still less. Like they didn't use dominoes,
True.
Stuff like that. So that's interesting. Anyway, you can find me over at patreon.com/professional casual. Look, hit that 301 tier. Joey and I once a month are going to be doing a new show for you on the Patreon. Either has been released or is about to be. It won't be released yet.
We'll see.
All right.
I don't know.
Well, you know what? We'll spoil it for you now so you can watch it when the episode drops and then you can review with us. We watched the 1978 Hellraiser movie. And then
87, 1987.
I'm sorry, 87 movie. And then we watched the 2002 Who reboot, Hellraiser. And guess what? We enjoyed one of them way more than we enjoyed the other one.
And we enjoyed it more than what the average person enjoyed, I guess.
Yeah, because we also give the IMDb scores there as well, and we think that
You guys do the Rotten Tomatoes scores too?
No,
Fuck
so I
Rotten Tomatoes.
specifically avoided Rotten Tomatoes because I know like if they produce shit, they score it way higher. So I was just like, no, fuck that shit. So yeah, I used IMDb because I figured it was the most balanced. Yeah, I think we're going to learn from this series called Getting Franchised that people are fucking stupid and cling on to what they think
Nostalgia.
is nostalgia of a good first movie. And then anytime they do a reboot, they immediately shit on it. So
Yeah. Because I mean, the list we have, all of the first ones have a higher score than the reboot.
Yep.
So
100%.
I'm definitely looking forward to some of these.
Yeah, I am too.
A few of them I haven't seen, so
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I did put one Zack Snyder one on there for him, Ron.
and I appreciate it.
And they're all horror movies. The whole first season's
so
horror.
it's Dawn of the Dead then.
There you
Yep,
go.
100%. Yep. So
That's in like 5 months from the time I first start releasing. I don't know when I'm going to release it. We'll
yeah,
see.
look, that's the fun of it. Get in there, get in the Discord, and then when the episodes drop, you'll know.
Yeah.
If I remember to actually put it in Discord.
Hell, remember to put it in the Discord.
Well, if you're at the 301 tier, you'll get notifications of that there's new like stuff being dropped. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm in 301 tier and I don't get anything. So.
That's because you don't drop anything.
Oh yeah. Wait, I have to do stuff? Shit. Okay.
that's how he gets you. You want your show to be successful, you just have to also do the. He just gives you the people. You have to still get the people's to the the information to him.
I
didn't say it was a
on my
good
other
system he
show.
had. I just said it's a system he had.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ronald, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Good at This Game. You can find my art on Instagram at Good Art This Game, and you can find me right here on this podcast. Joey?
Instagram and threads at Comic Book Rundown. Email comicbookrundown@gmail.com. Rate and review us on your podcasting app of choice. If you do, we will read it on an upcoming episode. We've got merch over on Redbubble and TeePublic, and our song was done by Father Dr. Cam.
Dr.
You
Daddy
change
Cam.
it every time. Like, I'll say one, you say the other. What the hell? Freaking contrarian. So our next movie, I'm looking forward to this one. The Rocketeer from 1991.
Hey, we can watch that on Disney Plus.
Yes, we can.
I believe it's Secret Galaxy. I think I'm saying that right. They do a bunch of review stuff. They did like a review of The Rocketeer and why it failed. And it's I highly recommend. Go watch that and then go watch the movie.
What did you say that was called?
Secret
I think
Galaxy?
it's called. I think it's called Secret Galaxy. Hold on, I can look it up really quick. I think it's Secret Galaxy. Secret. Yeah, Secret Galaxy.
Okay.
They have one about the Rocketeer. Let me see if I can just flip. It's fairly recent. They do pretty much anything from like the 80s, 90s, cartoon stuff, not cartoon stuff. They talk about the failure of Todd McFarlane's Spawn, the animated series. But if you type in Secret Galaxy Rocketeer, I'm sure it will come up. It's very interesting. A lot of things that kept it from being successful, and it was. I think I remember seeing it and being kind of bored with it, but we'll see. I was very young, so.
The History of Rocketeer. Yeah, it's only like 20 minutes long.
Yeah, his episodes are awesome because they're only like 20 minutes, and then he does like multiple sets of stuff, and then they'll release like one mega episode of like all of the episodes crammed together. So like if you want to watch 4 hours of the history of Robotech, you can. You know what I mean? Because it's over like 10 episodes.
Also, go point out this came out a year ago.
So, probably.
The other day. It came out the other day.
Hey, everything that's not today, yesterday, or tomorrow is the other day.
Exactly.
I watched it like 2 months ago. So because I was just like, it was just next playing all of his videos I was watching, so it was probably just random shuffled.
Okay.
It's awesome.
But yeah,
Really good.
so come back next week while we talk about the Rocketeer.
Okay.
Bye.
Scooby boo Scooby booby doo Scooby Scooby booby doo. That was really hard to say. Holy shit.